The carriage moved slowly through streets I had once known, provincial streets, ordinary streets, streets where no one glanced twice at a woman of modest dress returning from a long absence. I had forgotten what it felt like to be unremarkable, to pass through the world without being watched, without being weighed, without mattering to anyone beyond the small circle of those who loved me. It felt like breathing after years underwater. That is Anna at the end, leaving St. Petersburg, returning to the provinces, becoming invisible again. But this invisibility is not invisibility of Act 1. That was circumstance, the accident of being born a woman in a world that did not see women. This is choice, this is earned. Today we complete the architecture. Act 4. The Return. Welcome back to the Architect's Method. I am Luigi Pascal Rondanini, and this is Episode 6, The Return. We have traveled the full arc now. Act 1 summoned Anna into the world of power. Act 2 showed her ascent and the machinery tightening around her. Act 3 shattered their illusions. She saw what she had become. Now comes the question every novel must answer. What does the protagonist do with what they have learned? Act 4 is not falling action. It is not denouement. It is not epilogue. Act 4 is the completion of the moral arc, the place where everything the protagonist has experienced transforms into understanding, and understanding transforms into choice. Here is the structural principle. Act 4 must be different from Act 1 but echo it. Your protagonist returns to a place, a state, a condition, but they return transformed. The ending mirrors the beginning, but the mirror is warped by everything that has happened. In The Reader of the Empress, Anna begins invisible and ends invisible. But the two invisibilities are utterly different. The first was imposed, the second is chosen. The first was limitation, the second is liberation. That transformation from the same surface condition to a completely different inner reality is what Act 4 must accomplish. Act 4 has a specific rhythm. It moves through 4 stages. Stage 1. The execution. The protagonist acts on the decision made in Act 3. They begin to implement their choice. This is where intention becomes action. Stage 2. The obstacles. The choice is tested. Forces that benefited from the old arrangement resist the new one. The protagonist must fight or navigate to complete their transformation. Stage 3. The final reckoning. A last confrontation or moment of truth. The protagonist must fully commit. There is no more room for hedging, for half measures, for keeping one foot in the old world. Stage 4. The resolution. The new equilibrium is established. We see the protagonist in their transformed state. The mirror to Act 1 is complete. Notice what is not here. Triumph, victory, the hero riding into the sunset. Literary fiction does not require triumphant endings. What it requires is meaningful endings. The protagonist must arrive somewhere that matters, somewhere that could not have been reached without the journey. Anna's ending is not triumph. She does not defeat Catherine. She does not expose the empire. She does not save anyone. She simply leaves. She chooses a smaller life, a quieter life, a life without influence. That might sound like failure. It is not. It is the only form of integrity available to her, and choosing it fully, consciously, at great cost, is the completion of her arc. Let me walk you through how I build this in The Reader of the Empress. Act 4 spans chapters 21 through 30 plus a coda. 10 chapters, about 23,000 words. Chapter 21. The Fading. Anna begins her strategic disappearance. She makes herself less useful. She introduces small errors into her translations, nothing catastrophic, just enough to seem less brilliant. She declines invitations. She becomes forgettable. I had spent years making myself indispensable. Now I learn the opposite art, the craft of becoming unnecessary. It required the same precision, the same attention to detail, only the direction was reversed. This chapter shows the execution of her plan. It is quiet, methodical, almost bureaucratic, but underneath is terror. Every day she remains is another day she might be discovered. Chapter 22. The Watcher Watched. Anna realizes she is being observed. Not overtly, but someone is paying attention to her fading. She does not know who, she does not know why. This is the first obstacle. Her plan depends on being unremarkable. If someone is watching, she has already failed. I felt eyes on me in the corridors, not the usual eyes, the ones that had measured my influence, calculated my proximity to power. These were different, patient, curious, waiting. The chapter builds paranoia. Anna does not know if she is imagining it. The reader does not know either. But the sense of surveillance is everywhere. Chapter 23. The Provincial Letter. Anna receives a letter from her sister in the provinces. Ordinary family news, but it reminds her of what she's returning to. A smaller life, yes, but a real one. People who knew her before, a self that existed before the court. My sister wrote of the harvest, of our neighbor's new child, of the roof that needed repair. Small concerns, human concerns. I read the letter 3 times, not for information, but for the texture of a life I had almost forgotten existed. This chapter is breathing room. After the paranoia of chapter 22, the reader needs to feel what Anna is moving toward, not just what she's escaping. Chapter 24. The audience refused. Anna requests permission to leave court, to return home for family matters. The request is denied. This is a major obstacle. She's not free to leave. The empire does not release its instruments so easily. The Empress values your service, the minister said. His smile did not reach his eyes. She would be disappointed to lose you. Surely your family can manage without you a while longer. Anna is trapped. Her plan assumed she could simply fade and then depart. Now she understands departure requires permission, and permission will not be granted. Chapter 25. The Ally. Anna finds unexpected help. Princess Dashkova, who refused her comfort in Act 3, now offers practical assistance. Not out of sympathy, but out of shared understanding. You want to leave, she said. It was not a question. I can help. Not because I approve. I think you are a fool to surrender what you have built. But I understand. And understanding, in this place, is the closest thing to friendship. Dashkova knows how the machinery works. She knows which levers to pull, which requests to make, which pretexts will be accepted. She becomes Anna's guide to escape. Chapter 26. The Final Translation. Anna is given one last assignment. A significant document, philosophical, political, important. Catherine wants it done by Anna specifically. This is a test. Anna knows it. If she does it brilliantly, she proves she is still valuable, and valuable people are not released. If she does it poorly, she raises suspicion. She chooses a third path. She does it competently, not brilliantly, not poorly, adequately. The translation of someone who was once exceptional but has diminished. I gave her adequacy, the most difficult translation I had ever produced, not because the text was hard, but because excellence was easy for me and mediocrity required constant vigilance. Chapter 27. The Summons Reversed. Anna is called before Catherine, alone, just the two of them, as in the private audience of Act 2. But everything has changed. Anna is no longer the eager translator hoping to impress. Catherine is no longer the empress who saw something special in a provincial woman. They face each other as what they have become, two people who know too much about each other. You wish to leave, she said. Yes, Your Majesty. Why? I had prepared answers. Family obligations, health concerns, the need for rest. But standing before her, I found I could not perform. Not anymore. Because I cannot continue, I said, and I think you know why. This is the final reckoning. Anna speaks truth, not complete truth, but enough. She acknowledges what is between them. She does not pretend. Catherine's response is complex. Anger, yes, but also something like respect. Or recognition. You are not the first to lose your taste for service, she said. You will not be the last. Most of them I destroy. You, she paused. You, I will let go. Consider it a gift. Consider it a test. Consider it whatever you need to. Anna is released, not warmly, not with blessing, but released. Chapter 28. The Inventory. Anna prepares to leave. She goes through her possessions, the things she has accumulated in years at court. Most of it she leaves behind. She takes only what she brought. I left the silk dresses, the jeweled pins, the gifts from ministers who had wanted my favor. I took my father's books, my mother's ring, the letters from my sister. The woman who had arrived could depart with what she had brought, no more. The rest belonged to someone I no longer wished to be. This chapter is ritual, the shedding of the court self, the reclaiming of the provincial self. It is interior, quiet, essential. Chapter 29. The corridor one last time. Anna walks through the palace one final time. The same corridors from Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, now seen with departure eyes. I passed the reading room where I had first performed for her, the salon where ideas had become instruments, the archive where I had found the ledger. Each space held a ghost of myself, versions of Anna who had believed different things, wanted different things, been capable of different things. I did not say goodbye to them. They were not gone. They lived in me still, layered like sediment. I was leaving, but I was taking all of them with me. This is the mirror. Act 1 showed Anna entering. Act 4 shows her leaving. The same spaces, transformed by everything that has happened. Chapter 30. The threshold. Anna crosses the threshold, leaving the palace, leaving St. Petersburg, returning to the provinces. The final chapter mirrors the first. The carriage, the provincial road, the sense of a life dividing into before and after. But the division is reversed. In Act 1, the letter arrived and everything changed. In Act 4, Anna departs and everything changes again. The city receded behind me. I did not look back. There was nothing behind me I needed to see again, only things I needed to remember, which is different. Ahead, a smaller life, a quieter life, a life without influence, without danger, without mattering to anyone who did not love me. It felt like breathing after years underwater. And then, the coda. After chapter 30, there is a coda. It is short, maybe 800 words, and it is in a different voice. The coda is told from the perspective of Mira, a young servant who has worked in Anna's household throughout the novel. We have seen her in glimpses, bringing tea, delivering messages, observing silently. In the coda, years have passed. Mira is older now. She has found Anna's private writings, the manuscript that Anna has been composing in secret, the story we have just read. I found the pages after she died, hidden beneath the floorboards of her study, wrapped in oilcloth, preserved against time and damp. She had written it all down, everything, the court, the empress, the translations, the archive, the choice she made and why she made it. I read it in a single night, by candlelight, not stopping until dawn. The coda does several things. First, it confirms that Anna survived. She made it out. She lived a full life. She died in the provinces, in obscurity, in peace. Second, it frames the novel as testimony. Anna wrote this down. She needed someone to know, not the public, she never published it, but someone, and Mira is that someone. Third, it completes the theme of witness. Throughout the novel, Anna has been a witness to Catherine's reign, to the machinery of power, to her own complicity. Now, Mira witnesses Anna. The chain of seeing continues. She wanted someone to know, I think. Not everyone, just someone. Someone who would understand that she had seen clearly at the end, that she had chosen. I am that someone now. And perhaps, if you're reading this, you are too. The coda is structural. It is not an afterthought. It completes the architecture by stepping outside the protagonist's perspective, giving us distance, giving us time, giving us the long view. Anna's choice matters because someone witnessed it, someone remembers, someone is telling us. Here is a diagnostic I ran on my first draft of Act 4. The resolution arrives too easily. Anna decides to leave in Act 3, requests permission in Act 4, and is granted it. The obstacles feel token. The reader needs to believe she might not escape, or that escape might cost more than she is prepared to pay. That diagnostic led to significant restructuring. In my first draft, chapters 24 through 27 did not exist in their current form. Anna asked to leave. There was a brief delay, and then she left. The departure felt flat because it was not earned. I added the denied request in chapter 24, a real obstacle. Dashkova's help in chapter 25, alliance with cost. The final translation in chapter 26, a test she must navigate. The confrontation with Catherine in chapter 27, truth spoken at last. Now the escape is hard. Now it requires strategy, alliance, risk. Now the reader believes it might fail. Act 4 must feel like its own journey, not just a wind down from Act 3. The protagonist's choice must be tested. The transformation must be fought for. Let me talk about the mirror principle, the structural technique that connects ending to beginning. The mirror principle says your ending should echo your beginning, but transformed. Same images, same situations, same language even, but everything means something different because of the journey. In The Reader of the Empress. Opening image, Anna in the provinces, receiving a letter that will change everything, a carriage arriving, a summons to court. Closing image, Anna in a carriage, leaving court, returning to the provinces, a letter of release, the journey reversed. Opening want, to be seen, to matter, to have an audience for her mind. Closing understanding, being seen by power is not recognition, it is conscription. True freedom is chosen invisibility. Opening line, the letter arrived on a morning in early August 1762. Closing line of chapter 30, it felt like breathing after years underwater. Coda's final image, Mira reading Anna's manuscript by candlelight, the ultimate witness, the final audience. The mirror is not repetition, it is resonance. The reader feels the shape of the journey because the ending recalls the beginning. They understand, at a structural level, how far Anna has come, not just in geography, but in self-knowledge. We will talk much more about this technique in episode 11, but it starts here, in Act 4, with the deliberate construction of return. Let me offer some principles for endings, not rules, but observations about what makes Act 4 land. First, the ending must be inevitable and surprising. This is the paradox. When the reader finishes, they should think, of course, it had to end this way, but they should not have predicted it in advance. The ending should feel like the only possible conclusion, in retrospect. Anna's departure is inevitable because we have watched her transform. She cannot stay. But it is surprising because we might have expected confrontation, exposure, drama. Instead, quiet exit. Strategic invisibility, a choice that honors everything she has learned. Second, the ending must complete the character arc, not just the plot. Plot is what happens. Character is who the protagonist becomes. Your ending must resolve the character question more than the plot question. The plot question of The Reader of the Empress is, what will happen to Anna at court? The character question is, who will Anna become when she sees what power really is? The ending answers the character question. Anna becomes someone who chooses obscurity over complicity, that is, the arc completed. Third, the ending must leave the reader somewhere. Not just conclude, land. The reader should arrive at an emotional and intellectual place. They should feel something. They should think something. I wanted readers to finish The Reader of the Empress feeling melancholy, but also something like hope. Anna lost her illusions. She lost her influence. She lost, in some sense, the best years of her life to a machine that used her. But she got out. She saw clearly. She chose. That is not triumph, but it is not despair either. It is something harder to name, a kind of earned peace. Here is what I want you to take from this episode, and from this entire journey through the 4 acts. Act 1 establishes what will be disrupted. It creates the world that the story will transform. Act 2 shows the protagonist getting what they wanted and accumulating the cost they cannot yet see. Act 3 shatters the illusion. The protagonist sees clearly and must decide who they will become. Act 4 completes the transformation. The protagonist acts on their decision, faces final obstacles, and arrives at a new equilibrium that mirrors the beginning but means something different. That is the architecture, that is the skeleton that holds a novel together. We have spent 6 episodes inside the Reader of the Empress. You have seen how the method works, not as theory, but as practice. Every structural principle I have described, I have shown you in action. Now comes the harder work, applying it to your own manuscript. Let me leave you with the final passage of chapter 30, the moment before the coda, when Anna's journey reaches its quiet end. The question was no longer whether I could continue. I would continue, in a smaller way, in a quieter place, with whatever remained of myself after the empire had taken its portion. The question was whether the self that remained was enough, whether a life without influence could still be a life worth living, whether invisibility, chosen this time, could feel like freedom rather than defeat. I did not know the answer. I suspected I would spend years discovering it. But as the carriage carried me away from everything I had built and everything I had lost, I understood one thing clearly. I was no longer being carried. I was choosing the direction. And that, perhaps, was enough. Before you go, we have now completed the 4-act deep dive. Episodes 3 through 6 have taken you inside the complete structure of the Reader of the Empress. If you want to apply this to your own work, the custom GPT can help you diagnose each act, whether your Act 1 establishes enough, whether your Act 2 builds the machinery, whether your Act 3 gives the reckoning room, whether your Act 4 completes the mirror. Link in the show notes. The companion workbook has exercises for all 4 acts. You can work through them sequentially, building your novel's architecture chapter by chapter. Next episode, Killing Your Darlings. We are going to talk about the hardest part of revision, cutting material you love. I will show you the nearly 10,000 words I removed from the Reader of the Empress, why they had to go, and how I made peace with losing them. Until then, build well.